the development project of the century that will spur Egypt forward by qualitative leaps and bounds. Yet, in spite of the hype, the project is not new.
Indeed, Ahmed, it dates back to at least a decade, and some experts maintain that the idea actually germinated in the era of President Anwar al-Sadat and Hassan al-Kafrawi, who had served as Minister of Housing under both Sadat and Hosni Mubarak, had laid the preliminary cornerstones. But it was Hassan Sharaf, Minister of Transportation under Ahmed Nazif's government, and then the first Prime Minister after the revolution, who was the chief architect of the project. He had worked on it and nurtured it for years. And joining us here to tell us more about the project is Dr. Hassan Sherepa, economic and planning expert. A very good afternoon.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, Dr. Hassan. I guess the main question, or the first question, would be about the Suez Canal as not being just a maritime passage. How can we be using the Suez Canal as a development area, a big development area for Egypt?
Well, the Suez Canal, it's a Suez Canal. You're talking about an international vision. You should not talk about the Suez Canal as a local vision. The Suez Canal and all these studies which has been done previously, whether during Sadat's time or during Dr. Hassan Sharaf, they are very good, but as a vision, they are very limited. So we need to talk about the vision of Suez Canal with broad wide angle. We should not focus on a plot or a two just to put some kind of an industry, whatever the industry is. We should talk about 5 main cities, which is north of Sinai, south of Sinai, Ismailia, Port Said, and Suez. That's 5 cities. This area, in this 5 cities, you need to focus and develop the whole concept and the whole project. Right now I see lots of people talking about the strip of the Suez Canal. And that's not a wide vision. This is a very narrow vision. And I've seen lots of talks and meetings with different people, and they are in a high rank, and they agreed on what I have said to them. We need to develop the Suez Canal with more perspective of time, because what we are doing right now, it is having a snack meal.
Right.
You just boil it and that's it. This is no way. That's no business.
Well, when we talk about this particular project, it has been shelved for a while. What do you think really needs to be done to really look at it seriously and jumpstart it at this point?
We need to talk about a mega project. We need to talk about what even Dr. Hassan Sharaf himself have agreed on this, and what even Dr. Tariq Wafiq, the Minister of Housing, both of them, they are talking a very good things about it, but we need to expand. We do not need what you call a tax-free zones, or an area in Port Said, or an area in Ismailia, and in another small area in Suez Canal. We want to talk about 192 kilometers with the expand and the depth of Sinai until the other branch of the Red Sea to the border of Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
We want to talk about this. Some political articles are making an issue today,
Right.
especially about Iran, and they are what you call giving a kind of an influence, especially in the Persian Gulf, about their oil, and how can we transport the Gulf and other countries in the Gulf the oil through the Suez Canal, and we gain at least $1 a barrel. You're talking about lots of projects. So you need to focus, how can we do the Suez Canal? How can you shorten the time of the Suez Canal, which takes about 19 hours to 8 hours?
Yes, Doctor, so this is the importance of the process or the project and the timing of it. So what about the steps that will be taken by the government and be taken by Egypt to be achieving?
I don't
such
see
a
any
feat?
steps have been taken, real steps. We need, first of all, to create the body of the company itself. We need to make a structure, because we need someone who is really have a vision or an idea to lead this. And we need a law for this. This is not the common law. The Suez Canal itself, the law of it, it's since 1863 and until today, and it is not under the supervision of anyone.
Yes.
It is under its own procedures. They have their own way of moving in the Suez Canal. So we need to do the 5 main cities like this.
Right.
I don't want to have the Suez Canal with a depth of 10 miles, like Sharm el-Sheikh, and you have all hotels taking all the banks of Sharm el-Sheikh. That's the worst thing. We need the Suez Canal to be a vision of Egypt.
Right.
How can we do this vision? It is to say that with some people, leading people, like Hassan, like there's another doctor. He is in North Sinai.
Right.
He's very famous. It's Ratib.
Who's doing the
Ratib.
Hassan Ratib?
Hassan Ratib.
Yes.
I need somebody like Dr. Wafi himself, Tariq Wafi. All of them, they should sit together. I'm ready to support them. That's no problem. And we sit together focusing on what we should do for the whole 5 cities, not the Suez Canal.
But shouldn't we be starting in one area and then branching out? Since the project has been shelved for so long and it seems to be in a bit of a disarray as to how to approach it properly, don't you think that maybe we should be focusing on one area and then spreading out to the 5
My dear,
areas? as
you need to
mentioned?
focus on one area with a full global vision, not a small vision. So if I focus on this one and that's it, then how can I extend the others? I need to have a full vision, then subtract. I will start with this, then I go for that, I go for the second one, the third, the fourth, and the 5th. Dr. Hassan Sharaf, this is his main concept, this is his main idea. By the way, I want to bring to your attention that you know that South Korea,
Yes.
do you know who have assisted South Korea in doing its ports and logistic zones? It's an Egyptian, by the way. And he is one of the pioneers. Why can't we use this talented person? There's lots of talent, Egyptians.
Yes.
We can do it. The time, let's take a year more. Let's take 2 years. I have no problem with it. But the moment you take an action and move up, it's already planned. It's not everyone comes out and everybody I see just showing up. We are going to make this as a timeshare. We're going to, these lands will not be sold. This is, we need to have what you call a legal firm for this project. And it has to be a supreme one.
But what about about plans? Perhaps there was talk about giving, or rumors, if you will, about giving the Suez Canal to Qatar to manage, for example.
Well,
why was that so largely rejected?
This is a rumor, as you
Right.
said. This is a rumor. Qatar cannot afford the Suez Canal. And nobody can afford the Suez Canal. Why? Because it is owned by the Egyptian.
Right.
And Egyptians will never give an inch to anyone, whatever the reason is. Even if you don't have a nickel in your pocket for your food and your medication, you will fight and survive for the Suez Canal and leave it like this. So Qatar, let's consider if this room was for United States or for Germany or England. What are we going to say? Let's consider Qatar as a business.
Well, they bought a lot of England.
Let's consider Qatar as a business people.
Right.
And if they want to do business with us, yeah, they can do business with us. But after we finish the full concept, the full idea, they are most welcome. Like the Saudis, like the people in the Emirates, like the people in China, like the people in Germany, Europe, anywhere. I have no obligation on investments.
So is there a starting date for the project to be starting with?
Well, there is a meeting on the 13th of May. I'm going to attend it. They are talking about this project. I hope to hear something. Because if they start, or they are making sure that they are going to start very soon, may God help them, because it will be a kind of another Toshka problem.
Right.
So Toshka, we spend billions, and we are going to spend also some money, and we're not gaining a nickel.
Right. Well, Egypt is economically in a dire straits at the moment. Do you think that tackling this project could help?
Yeah, this is one
Right.
of the projects.
Right.
One.
But if we're not there, we don't have those billions.
No, we
to
do
spend.
have it.
Right.
We do have
Well,
it.
the government says that we don't.
No, we do have the way to develop this.
Right.
We need to give a confidence to Egyptians that the Suez Canal is their Suez Canal, and they are most welcome to go and develop the Suez Canal. And businessmen, Egyptian businessmen, they have the priority, they have to have the full priority, whether he is a Christian, a Muslim, anybody else. He's Egyptian, he's entitled to invest. But there's rules, we need to make these rules.
So what are the regulations or the rules to be put for the investors from maybe US, France, Germany, Italy, Norway, or from any other place to be investing in
ABC?
such a project? Yes.
Let's say, number one, he will have only a time lease for the land. That's ABC. It goes without saying. So you're gonna, but it will differ from the type of your type of work. So if it is agriculture, you have more timing. If you have industry, it will be shortage. If you have commercial things, it will be shorter. So maximum will be for commercial 20-25 years. Agriculture maximum 49 years. Industry 35 years. So you need to, but you need to measure what type of industry you need. So you have in Mahalla a chaos, you have a problem. And textile of Egypt is a very famous brand.
Yes.
And it also shelters lots of number of people. And it gives lots of opportunities of work. Can we do this there? How? We need to sit down with Mahalla people, talk to them, and give them the privilege to move their things there.
Yes.
Right. But if we're properly promoting the particular project, do you think, because investment right now, investment opportunities in Egypt, we're not attracting much investment, but if we promote this particular project properly, do you think that we can really get the wheel running?
We need to promote this business, first of all, by keeping quiet until we come to a full vision. That's number one. And not to criticize the thing before the full vision is there.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, I have to use an international assistance, whatever the name is, because you need to get funds. How can you get the funds? Credibility of this, where it comes from the Suez Canal itself. We need the Suez Canal to be a partner in this, to give credibility to the project. We need another partner, and very important one. That's the army. To be another partner, because the army can make some kind of a business there, investments there. So this is no what you call, it's no shy to say that the army is investing in this.
Yes.
At least 10% will go for the army. Suez Canal, another 5 or 10% more.
Who would provide the financial assistance that you just mentioned? Who do you think, besides the army, what external bodies perhaps would provide the assistance that you mentioned?
Who can provide me?
With the assistance that you say, you just said that we need financial assistance perhaps to get the project running. Who could provide that?
First of all, do we have the leaders who is going to lead the company? We have to choose them by name. They have kind of a credibility. I can propose 3, like Hassan Sharaf. I can propose Dr. Baradei. I can propose Amr Musa. Any one of them, he can lead this.
Well, Doctor, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding the project of the Suez Canal access, especially after the resignation of Dr. Hassan Sharaf and his advisory team. So how do you see the current state of the project now?
He did resign, and this is his choice. But Hassan Sharaf resigned, what you call, practically. But physically, he didn't resign. He's still, his mind, his thoughts, and everything is there. And his team is willing to help, even without the official way.
Yes.
I don't want you to ignore that Hassan Sharaf is considered one of the 4 pioneers in transportation worldwide. Plus, I told you about another one, and that's Dr. Muhammad Ali. He is the one who made the Korean one. So we can manage to get these people. We can put them together. They are wonderful. They are pure Egyptians, honest, and they can do it. I'm ready to work with them and every one of them. But let's take the time. Rushing in this project, you're going into a chaos. Don't rush. Investments can easily come when there is a stability of the idea, because you're going to change after you accepted someone. Then it's a problem. It is a problem.
Well, can this be a starting point to re-attracting investments to Egypt, or do you think from that point of view of re-attracting investments to the country, that more needs to be done on a political and economic level?
On political level, you need to have a kind of low stability. That's number one. If you don't have any low stability, everybody respects it, then it's you're not going to gain anything. Economy-wise, I want the Egyptians to be involved, and I don't want to have what you call Muslim stocks or Islamic stocks, because I don't consider a stock an Islamic or non-Islamic. It's a stock.
Right.
And I want Egyptians to go for these stocks. And who is holding this is the leader of the company, the Suez Canal, the army. This gives credibility to the Egyptians, and then they will go. And let's start with a stock of minimum. Let's put 20 pounds. Everybody can pay at 20 pounds and buy a stock,
Right.
an Egyptian. So they will manage to get lots of funds from the Egyptians themselves.
Yes, Dr.
Because if they had a full vision.
Doctor, there's also a perspective held by a lot of Egyptians about national security regarding the project. So is this the army? Is this the role of the army? And in turn, they will be getting about 10% of the revenue.
No. The army is there because the army have played a good role during our revolution. And you need a kind of stability income to the army. And the army have paid lots of things, whether blood or fighting for the Suez Canal. So when it comes to business, they have the privilege to get something. And this is part of it. So the army is not, when we're going to talk about the whole plan of the project, we have to take and consider the army opinion as number one.
Right. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Hassan Sherepa, economic and planning expert. It was a pleasure having you with us today.
Thank you very much.
Now it's time to go off for a quick break, so stay tuned with my crews.
In honor of Minister of Higher Education, Dr.